Good morning and Happy New Year. Today is actually December 29th, but I'm doing this a couple days early. You can already feel the energy coming in for 2013, or the shift that took place December 21st. That softer, kinder, feminine energy is definitely noticeable to me. Hopefully it's noticeable to you as well. You might notice in some of your relationships things are moving along a lot easier, less struggles to take place within those relationships. Other relationships might be very difficult to navigate right now because the energy of those relationships are so different than the energy that has taken course within our life right now. So those relationships you might want to take a look at. They might need to be tweaked or removed out of your life, because we need to start letting go of all this heavy, deeper, darker energy and move towards this lighter, more feminine, creative, softer energy. So today I'm doing a card reading, not only for January 2013, but for the whole year of 2013. And when I went to get my cards this morning, it was interesting because I didn't just pick one deck like I usually do. I actually picked 3 different decks. I'm assuming I'll pick one card from each deck, but as you know, these aren't always the case. This isn't always the case. Things change. And every author or creator of these decks will carry a different energy in that deck, and that's why we're sometimes drawn to one deck or another, because we need that energy that they've implemented within their deck to take form in whatever's going on in our life at that time. So some of these decks you'll be familiar with if you've been watching my card readings this year. The first deck is Path of the Soul, and it's by Cheryl Lee Harnish. And I love the photos or pictures on her deck. They're just beautiful. Okay, so this card is number 26. It's very purple. It does have that green, lime green in it that's so popular right now. And it's definitely an eye. I really get a connection to the eye shape and the pupil shape in the middle. And it's not so much what we see and how we see the world as what almost like a third party is watching us right now. There's something else that is important, that is helping us change our perception on our entire world. And we will mostly notice this when we're in a meditative state. So when you go into a meditative state, and I hope all of you are meditating, it'll take you to a place that is very peaceful and calm. It's very similar to the energy that is entering our earth right now, but this place has limitless possibilities. So where you feel constrained in your life right now, when you go into this meditated state and you concentrate on being one with the universe, you will find there's so many other possibilities for you to move forward in your life. This is where you find those answers that you've been asking for during your waking hours, but it's difficult for us to hear some of those answers when we're so busy and our life is so hectic. So the second deck of cards, and I've used these before as well, they're the Self-Care cards by Cheryl Richardson. Lovely lady. And these cards are a little different. They have a saying on one side and a word on the other side. Okay, so intent is the card. Whoops. And that very much connects into the previous card, where that energy is really about intent. And it's intense, and we can connect to it to find the answers. This card says, focus your energy. There is amazing power in a strong intention. And we can find out what that is when we go into a meditated state and we become quiet within ourselves. It's like doors opening and answers being offered through these different doors. And it's not that we need to answer every door that's available. You'll get a really good understanding about what is best for you to move forward. There was a time in my life where I was becoming very creative. I was taking amazing photos, and I really considered becoming a professional photographer. And it was during that time that I also got into the energy work. And I know now I could have gone either way. Whatever I did would have offered healing to people, whether it would have been through photography or through the work I do now. So there are options there. I don't regret not going into photography. It's still an important part of my life. But I feel that I made the right choice. And even if I'd become a photographer, I believe that still would have felt like I made the right choice. So when we're offered up these other multiple opportunities, don't fret about it. Just take one, and you'll know if it's right or if it's not right. And you might do it, and it might lead you into something else. I know a lot of people who've become yoga instructors or healers, massage therapists. They've been looking for something to do to make a difference in other people's lives, to offer healing. And a lot of times what that is about, not all the time, but quite often, it's about their own healing process and taking time away from life to become very introspective again. And they'll do this for 5, 6, sometimes only a couple years, and then they turn around and they go back into whatever business they were in before they started this side quest. And it's not about, oh, you made the wrong choice, why'd you do that? Well, people judging you. Don't even go there. Just know that that's part of the journey. It wasn't an offshoot. It was where you were meant to be for that period of time. I don't know where I'm going. I still believe I'll be doing this in 20 years from now, but what it looks like will look different, because every year my business looks completely different than it did the year before. Because everything has to change and evolve. And that is really what life is about right now, is about these changes and evolutions, about setting intentions, and that intention could take you into something completely different than you anticipated. Go back to that place of meditation and feel what is right for you at that specific time. And then move forward. So the third deck of cards is Colette Baron-Reid, Wisdom of the Hidden Realm. I've used her map cards. I don't know if I've ever used these ones with you before. The back looks like this. Very pretty. So the card I pulled is the Swan Queen. Transformation, intuition, and patience. And it's a number 13. Which fits in perfectly with everything I've been talking about. I was on a Visceral Level 5 course at the beginning of December, and every time I take one of those courses, I always think I've come so far in my healing that I won't be affected. But of course, I was affected. It's 4 days of intense work within all the organs, so the abdominals, the thorax, some of the brain, pelvic floor. And we really get in and we release things that have been tied or bound or emotionally withdrawn. So it affects the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual level. And usually within a week of coming out of that class, I have some type of healing transformation or healing crisis, whatever you would like to call it. And sure enough, 4 days I was severely ill to the point where I actually took myself to emergency just to make sure there wasn't anything else. As much as I believed it was from the course, it's always smart to be a little cautious about these things. The doctors assumed I was having a gallbladder attack or passing a stone or something of that nature. And of course, none of the scans, blood work, came back with any problems. Everything was absolutely normal within my system. So when we go through change, whether it's dieting, a relationship, we go to a workshop, we take a course, change is going to take place in our life, near-death experiences. Something's going to release, and all the old stuff we've been hanging on to has to come out of our body. And sometimes it does not feel good when it comes out. Sometimes emotionally it feels yucky. For me, it was entirely physical. Everything was just being loosened up, and things started flowing that hadn't flowed in a long time. You know, you have blood flow increasing, you have organs being moved into different spots where they've been bound up before. So huge transitions happened for me. Not only did my mental state change completely, my emotional state has changed, my physical being, my body shape has changed. I don't think there's as much change in my face this year as there was last year at this time when I went through a huge transformation. But a lot of times you will notice different aspects of your face have changed. Your voice can change. So just be aware of some of this. When you're sick and you go through a healing transformation, when you come out the other side, you will be a different person. If you're sick, you come out the other side and you're the same person, that is not a healing transformation or healing crisis. So when this does happen to you, be aware that you're not the same person. So go back into that meditated state if you can, that place where you're one with yourself, and take a look at what you need and what you no longer need. A lot of the stuff you no longer need will have disappeared from your life after this situation has resolved itself. You might find you now have a much different spiritual awareness, or you might be fighting with something that hasn't shown a face before to you, and now you're having to look at something a little deeper within your person that you weren't even aware was there. So this card, Transformation, Intuition, and Patience, is all about that healing process. When we transform, our intuition typically kicks into another level. What might have been very low grade for you might have moved up. Sometimes, and what happened for me after my transformation last December, is my intuition took a knock back. I couldn't actually hear as much from my guides as I felt the knowing more than I did the actual conversation. So I started developing on a different level, and it worried me because I wasn't hearing as much as I had been hearing before. With that said, my ears were going through a huge transformation this year, and that could all be a part of what was going on. And then patience is really, really important, because when we move through these things, it doesn't move quickly. And like I said, every time I go to a workshop, I think I'm so healed and I won't have to worry about any transition happening and I've gotten rid of everything, and it's not the case. We always have some other layer that reveals itself and allows us to become more familiar with ourselves. And patience is a big part of that. You can't push and force yourself through this. You have to really come back into your body. And I've had one of my shows was on healing boundaries. You can listen to it. I think it was November. I'm not sure of the date. But it's about coming into your body and not pushing through life and not taking from life. It's just about being and allowing life to just give and receive as you move along. And when we get into a place where we want to move through something quickly, we take ourselves out of that energy, and it's really important during that period especially to try and stay exactly where you need to be to continue the healing process. So that is the reading for January 2013 and throughout the whole year. That hopefully will assist you in moving and transforming yourself into something better. We're all working towards being a little bit better, I think. I know I am. So for this month, I have a few exciting guests. I have Charles Virtue coming back on my show on January 8th, and Jason Lincoln Jeffers coming on January 22nd. I will be doing 2 call-in shows in January. On January 15th, I'm going to be working the heart chakra. I didn't get to do that because I was on my week out of illness in December, so I wasn't able to do that show, but I'll be taking calls and we'll be doing work around healing the heart organ specifically. And then I'll be doing the abdominal organs on January 29th. So the stomach, the intestines, spleen, liver, pancreas. Sure I'm missing something, but everything having to do with the digestive system mostly is what I'll be working on that day. And on my website, healingpossibilities.com, you can find, I've just put on there under my products, I'm now offering 7 hours. It's like a mini workshop, 7 hours of me discussing the chakra system. So the base, sacral, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, and crown. And you can purchase that and download it and listen to it and gain a lot of information about how your body works and how you can connect to the chakras and your life experiences. I'm also offering long-distance healing treatments, which also can be found on my website under services. So if something's going on and you feel you need a little bit of work or a lot of work, I am now offering those services through my website, or you can send me an email at Tracy, Tracy, at healingpossibilities.com. Hope you have an absolutely amazing year.